Let's go. Welcome back to the Inside Lines, New Jersey's go-to podcast for political news and analysis. I'm George, and today we're diving into one of the most intriguing congressional storylines heading into 2026. Our guest has built a reputation on grit, persistence, and an unshakable belief that NJ-9 is ready for change. Billy Prempeh is gearing up for what would be his fourth consecutive run for Congress in New Jersey's 9th Congressional District, a race that was once considered safely Democrat, but is now on the National Republican Campaign Committee's watch list. In 2024, Billy shocked a lot of political observers, coming within just 5 points of defeating Democrat Nellie Pou, a freshman congresswoman with deep roots in New Jersey politics. That's the closest any Republican has come to flipping this seat in decades. Now, with the NRCC targeting this district, shifting demographics, and growing frustration over New Jersey's cost of living, the question is, can persistence finally pay off, or will old challenges stand in the way? We're going to get into that today, plus a fresh controversy involving the NRCC that broke just a couple of days ago. I mean, it gets interesting day by day. Billy Prempeh, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you for having me, man. 4 times in a row. That sounds pretty crazy.
Well, let's get into it. Look, persistence is key. Sometimes if we keep going, sometimes we're labeled insane or crazy. But I love hard work. So, and Billy, I've seen you for a number of years now. You're a hard worker. You've got grit. You've got persistence. But it's a fourth run. And people are going to be like, is this guy crazy?
Absolutely. In a good way.
In a good way. What keeps you coming back? Is it like personal connection, unfinished business, something else?
I mean, it's a little bit of kind of like what we were talking about a little bit before the camera. It's like, it's kind of hard to leave this place. This is our home. We love it here. My parents came here for a reason. I lived my life here for many, many years. I can't leave my community despite all the issues that it faces. And District 9 has now expanded the borders of my home. So it's like to leave even this area of Passaic, Bergen, Hudson would just feel very off to me. And it's in a real big need of help. After the power vacuum that was left in place after Pasquale passed away, they had to scramble to just choose anybody. And
how did you feel about that? Because I mean, when I was reading about that, I was kind of pissed off, like seeing what was going on. Like, what was your feeling at that time? Obviously Congressman Pasquale, he passed away. He served a very long career. He lived to a pretty long age too, right? I mean, he lived a pretty good life, right?
The guy's a hell of a fighter.
He was a fighter, right? I mean, even in his old age, I met him when he was older too, and shook his hand, and I was like, wow, he's a strong handshake, and he was 90 in his 90s, right?
No, he was 87.
87? Okay, 87, so almost there. And then unfortunately he passed away, and it was a sad day, right? It was a sad day. And then, but politics,
for me at least, but for various reasons. I
saw your post and I thought it was a very honest and very gracious post that you put up, and it came from the heart,
Because you know what it's like? If you've played sports before in high school, it's like you don't hate the guy on the other side of the team. It's like, you're my opponent, I'm against you and stuff, but it's like there's this vacuum now of like, now who am I going to beef with? Like, who am I going to run against? Like, he was a solid opponent.
Yeah.
Nellie, on the other hand, I can't wait to get rid of her in 2026.
Well, let's get into it. You came within 5 points of Nellie Pou. She's been a player in New Jersey politics for a very long time.
She's been stagnant. I wouldn't call her a player.
Right. Okay. She's been involved, right, as an assembly woman, right?
And then senator.
But it kind of like the cards fell in place for her, right? Because it was like someone decided to become senator, and I guess that spot opened up for her, and she went in.
What happened was after Pascal left the assembly, she got the position. She ran. She was essentially slipped right on in there. Never ran a serious campaign.
Right.
And then a couple of years down the line, she eventually ended up becoming the senator. Bill Pascal still in Congress, and she just waited until the clock ran down, and the party chose her, not just because she's a rubber stamp, but like party loyalist kind of candidate, but also because there were a lot of divisions amongst the party as to where they were going to try and keep things together. The biggest issue they face is all of their eggs were in Bill's basket.
Sure.
You know, they didn't really set up anyone else other than maybe Mayor Andre Saye, and that's another interesting discussion there. But ever since he left, I'm seeing many Democrats who I know for a fact hated my guts, come my way. You know, because think about it. It's like if you voted for someone purely for the party, you're not really 100% in it. It's more out of a loyalty kind of thing
To the party, right?
But when they decided, hey, you know what, we're just going to go with this candidate, and they're not doing what they said that they were going to do, you get a real bitter taste. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've been consistent with everything that I've stood for the past 5 years, and people are really starting to open their eyes and look at it, especially after seeing how President Trump won the district this last go around.
Well, I mean, look, your district, Cook PVI, D+2, which means it's like,
Wait, it's a D+2 now?
I think it's a D+. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I got to double check because like last I checked in 2024, well, 22 was a D+10, then it went to a D+8 by the end of 24, or by the end of 23, so it was about a D+7.5.
Okay.
So if it's a D+2, then man, we really knocked it out of the park.
Look, I don't know. Maybe my research is bad or flawed. I don't know, but like
ChatGPT.
But it's getting closer.
Yeah.
It's getting closer. And it's obviously due to a lot of work that you've done, right? Out on the campaign trail, talking to people, making relationships, building those, having those real, true conversations. And do you think CD9 has fundamentally like shifted over towards being?
It has fundamentally shifted because it has fundamentally shifted for several reasons. And again, I don't want to keep the conversation just about I shouldn't even say that about Bill Pascal, but he was such a household name for many years.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was the Democrat in District 9, you know, and even in the hub of District 9, the hub of Passaic County, Patterson, you know, you were the mayor all the way down to Congress, and he had a lot of connections. So for him to disappear like that, there were people I know who were not fans of him, but still dealt with him for other reasons. Nellie just doesn't seem to have that.
So let me ask you a question, and you may have heard this question before. Like you stand on issues like high taxes, right? Cost of living, infrastructure problems, crime, big problems in not just CD9, but in all of New Jersey. Your home city is Patterson. I've seen you speak in front of the mayor and council a number of times.
Well, the mayor never shows up to the meetings, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he never shows up, right. But like you speak in front of the council. May I ask, why not run locally a little bit, like in for the council or maybe assembly or the Senate in New Jersey?
So that's a question that a lot of people ask me, like, Billy, why don't you just focus right then and there? As I said, my view of home has expanded past just the city of Patterson. And I also realize that a lot of the issues that Patterson faces, there are other external factors. On top of that, for example, I could bring all the money in the world to the city of Patterson, but if we don't have good leaders inside of the city, you know, it's not really going to get accomplished, and vice versa. The difference is I have a little bit more leverage, a little bit more of an influence on what can and can't be done within not just that city, but also the surrounding area. If I can't even make that city good, if I can at least make the surrounding areas good, it's only a matter of time before the city of Patterson gets better. And I have a lot of things planned for the city. So And Patterson also has its own issues within its own city council and its own mayorship as well too. We have no idea what's going to happen post May. You know, Andre's running for for mayor at this point. He may possibly run for Congress. There's a bunch of rumors about that. And we have 3 other council members that are looking to run for mayor as well, too. All of them have their quirks and their issues that they have to deal with. But nonetheless, I feel that my mindset and the things that I know are also very federally minded. I have a lot more of knowledge with international affairs as well as federal affairs. And I believe that expertise will help the district much better than I would be able to serve in a local capacity.
Patterson just experienced a water main break, right?
Yeah.
How has the leadership responded locally, on a state level? I mean, you didn't have water for a couple of days, right?
Yeah. So we've got water now, but it's like low pressure, but we've got water now. But the rest of the city and some other areas in Haledon, North Haledon, in that area, some people still don't have any water. And this is a good example. So I want to take the time, and this doesn't mean I'm siding with Democrats here, but I want to commend the city council and what the mayor is actually doing in the city. I mean, I don't care who you are. I could be mayor. And that could have happened, right? It's like, that's a tough issue. And the thing is, a lot of people, I want them to understand that it's not just this is a Patterson issue, all right? There's 4 municipalities that are involved in this chaos. Right. Over 200,000 people are affected. This is something that even the county is having a little bit of difficulty with, and they're doing everything that they can. Passaic Valley Water is out there around the clock working hard. What I'm saying is that as a congressperson, I know that we can get funds to help repair our infrastructure. More importantly, the Democrats were talking about this Build Back Better bill that was going to be so fantastic for our country, and it's going to help repair our infrastructure and all that. And there were things I didn't like about the bill, but at the end of the day, the bill passed, which means the money is there. And our congressperson has the ability to access those funds and help shift those dollars over into our district and work with people that could fix it. Is she doing that?
Why isn't she doing that? Why isn't she in Patterson right now trying to
She's not doing that because she's going to do what the party tells her to do. And if the party says, hey, jump this high, she's going to jump that high. Sign this, you're going to sign that. And she signed some pretty ridiculous stuff. I mean, right now, when people are in the district trying to figure out what they can do, she's on the other side of the world. She's in Israel right now doing I don't know what. Despite that, there's people in the district that have been sending me emails that she's sending to her list. She only put them out a couple hours ago, and I'm like, we've been dealing with this for about a week. You know, and granted, as a civilian, it really frustrates me because I know that it's like if I can get access to these people and I can make the appropriate phone calls and be persuasive enough, I think we can resolve this. And we have the funds to do it. But the fact that you're not even concerned with that bothers me. And here's the thing that's even more frustrating is that I never agreed with this guy's politics, right? But one thing that I know for sure is he really did have a lot of love for the city of Patterson. I think he would have probably even canceled the trip short, regardless of what you're doing. Unless it's somebody's wedding or a funeral or something on the other side of the world, I have no idea why you're there, especially in this situation right now.
Right. So let's come back to the district. A lot of Hispanic voters, I think they supported you. They voted for you. Why do you think that was?
I think it's because the story that a lot of Hispanic families share is very similar to my story. Some people may not even know my story.
Well, what's your story?
Well, so just real quick, you know, born 1741. But no, my parents, they came in 1984. They were living in England at the time. Ronald Reagan was doing pretty good. America looked like it was a very promising aspect. And I'll tell you this story. I'll tell it on air. It's a story I told in Seaside the other day, last Sunday.
Which I was down right below you at Ship's Bottom on the beach. So I didn't even know what was going on over there.
I went to Ship's Bottom the other day, too. But gave a speech at Jack's event, and I was telling him about it, about, you know, why did we choose New Jersey? You ever seen the movie Coming to America?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Classic movie.
Yeah, so Eddie Murphy goes to New York. He goes to Queens because he wants to find the Queen.
Yeah.
Right? So my parents, they want to come to America, and they're like, well, you know, everywhere kind of looks the same. You want to see what looks like beautiful, whatever. And they saw, the Garden State. That sounds like a really nice place. And they moved to Fair Lawn. Fair Lawn, you know. And then after about a year or so, they moved over to Patterson. But my parents immigrated to this country legally. They love this country. They raised me to love this country and do what's right. You know, they always raised me with good values, good morals. God was always in the household. And that seems to be a very similar situation with a lot of people in the Hispanic community. They come to America And I'm talking about the ones that come in for the right reasons. And there's a lot of them. Right. And a lot of them are pissed to see that, hey, if I came in the right way and my family came in and did it the right way, we're starting a business, we're paying our taxes, we're doing everything that we can to offer something of value to society. And regardless of how messed up your situation is, I also had a messed up situation, but I did it the right way.
Right.
So when that reaches a capacity, after a while, you're going to snap. Passaic City is a very good example. Passaic City is a very huge Hispanic and Jewish population, right? The Jewish population, they're very good people. They're very focused on, school choice and things like that. The same thing with the Hispanic community. However, this go around, they voted a little bit differently. If you live in a city where there's a lot of illegals that are also living inside of your city, and you are trying to really make something of yourself, make something of your community, and you're not a wicked person. It's not like you hate the person, but you came for a reason. You want to do it the right way. I'm going to vote this way. And Trump won Passaic City, not just Passaic County, which a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was tremendous. And obviously, I'm a son of immigrants as well. My parents came in the early to mid 70s. They had no money. They did nothing. They started out in South Jersey, ended up coming here up north. My parents are probably one of the most successful people that I know. And it's due to hard work, persistence, and grit, and doing everything the right way. They came here the right way. They did everything the right way. So when you see people cutting the line, people not abiding by the same rules as everyone else, I mean, it definitely is frustrating. It's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to you, but definitely the argument is it's clear that the Hispanics are frustrated. I think a lot of immigrants, legal immigrants, are frustrated. And so, Trump won last year. Can that be extended?
Yeah, I believe it can be extended. And the reason why...
And we're seeing the big guns, everybody. You don't get this on every podcast.
Wait till I get to Congress. I'm going to be busting out of this jacket. And not like Christie. I had to throw it in there. It's what's being from New Jersey without a Christie joke.
Yeah.
But no, I think that the path is going to continue. The people are clearly fed up in the state of New Jersey, and people have a different opinion. People outside of New Jersey think that it's a blue state, but in reality, it's a little bit in between the center. And because of that, people decided to allow their voices to be heard. Even though Trump came a little bit short in New Jersey, in other parts all across the state, he did significantly well. And seeing how Jack has been campaigning in 2021, reaching out to communities that he initially did not go out to, and granted it was COVID and there's a lot of crazy stuff that was going on. I think that the momentum is really starting to change, and people starting to see that, hey, we do have a different shot. That fatigue of 8 years of Governor Murphy is starting to come to an end. And with a victory in 2025 for Jack, I can only imagine what it's going to look like in 2026. Great. We did well in the state. If you did well in District 9, I think we're going to do well in 2026 as well.
One thing I really admire about Jack, and I don't agree with him on everything. I don't think.
Sure.
But the guy's out. He's out there.
He's a robot, damn.
He's hustling. He's at every single event. And I mean, it's not easy. You and I both know, we've been on the campaign trail, just going out to, a couple events a week is like, wow, you're at the end of the event, you're like, I'm so tired. But he's doing like 2-3 events a day, and he's out there. I just don't know where he gets that energy. If you have some insight, sir, please let us know. Let us young people know. But I mean, what do you think is going to happen in the race? I mean, what's your view on Mikey, what she's doing? I feel like she's not doing anything. And
I think Mikey's running a bad campaign.
Yeah.
I think she's running a weak campaign, I should say.
Tremendously.
I'll give you an example. Governor Murphy's campaign was also pretty weak as well. But Governor Murphy had one thing that he can hook people on. We're going to legalize weed, right? And then people were going all over for that kind of stuff. And that's how we got in the first time. Right. The second time, I think it was a little bit of just frustration and, uncertainty of what was going on.
Right.
Mickey Sherrill, on the other hand, what does she bring to the table? Oh, great, you're a congresswoman. Fantastic.
She's a pilot.
Exactly. But you listen, you can fly the plane, but can you fly the state, man? I think they're two completely different things.
I feel like she's hiding. You know, I feel like because there's so many bad things that are going on, like energy prices. People are flipping out right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, their electricity bills, gas bills, or whatever, and they're flipping out. And I think this is like the main, like every election cycle has this one thing.
Yeah.
And this time it's like electricity. It's like your bill. And I'm telling you, I really think Jack can win if he can really like hammer that home to people and start interviewing people on the street when he's out there. Like, what was your electricity bill this month? You know, because
that's a great way to start a conversation.
Why not? You know, like here's mine. You know, have a rally. Bring your electricity bill. And every
bring your bill rally.
Yeah, why not? And you have 100 people, 200 people in the room. Bring their bill. Just take time, video. Boom,
One
boom,
second.
boom,
Do you have
boom.
a napkin? Like when I was walking up here, something like from, I think like an air conditioner water fell in my eye.
Okay,
or something.
sure.
It's been bugging me out. Thank you very much.
This has never happened before.
It's all good. There we go. We're good. All right.
I don't edit my podcast, so this is going to be in the podcast.
That's totally fine, man. I'm an unedited person.
Hey, I understand the heat. It's been hot, and I sweat a lot too. So,
Well, no, it's something that's getting in my eye.
are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're
I
okay?
don't know what the hell it was, but since I got in here, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Okay.
But anyway.
What were we talking about? But yeah, show the electricity bill and have an event where like hundreds of people that bring their bill. I guarantee you, everyone's gonna flip out.
I actually like that idea.
You heard it first on the
Bring your bill rally.
Yeah, I'll be there, dude. I mean, I think like that. I think would seal the deal, right? Yeah. Because like if you're paying an extra $300, $400, $500 plus, what is that? That's a car payment. That's food that's not going into your family's stomachs.
Right.
That's a tremendous amount of money. That's a tax. That's a tax right there. So like, show everybody, and everyone who lives in New Jersey is feeling that pinch.
Yeah.
And you win. You know, you win. At least we need him to win the governorship, right?
Well, more importantly, when he wins, and this goes for any candidate, this goes for myself as well too, is don't just win, but you got to deliver.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you got to deliver.
So that's the thing. Like he has to deliver. You know, and I feel like he will with some things, but like don't promise something. You know, don't be that politician who just says what the people want to hear, and then disappear or don't do anything else. You know.
Right.
All right, good. So, okay, so we're going up for Congress next year. Mm-hmm. You announced way early.
Yeah, that was beginning of the year, I believe.
What was the reasoning behind that?
So, right after the 2024 election, there were a lot of discrepancies that just did not make sense in our race. And if you were watching the numbers on election day, the numbers changed on 3 separate occasions. Right, I'm up. I'm down. The Green Party candidate's up with 50,000 votes.
Yeah,
that was just what's
when
going
I saw
on.
that, I was like, "What?"
And I was like, "No, that's got to be just an error on CNN." No, all of them were showing the same thing, and it just didn't make any sense to me. And after doing, and I don't want to say too much, only because there is still kind of an investigation going on. Yeah. But a police officer, a friend of mine, brought to my attention someone who lives in the district who had some pictures on social media. I can show you after the podcast, but posted some pictures on social media showing that he had access to the Board of Elections in Passaic County. He was in the room with all of these boxes filled with ballots marked for Patterson. And he was posting it almost as if he was like flaunting or flexing, or I don't know, maybe it was a cry for help. I work with criminals. I don't know what it was. And, you know, running for all these years, it's been a little bit stressful. So I decided, you know, take some time off and go away for a bit. And when this was brought to my attention, I started looking into it, started reaching out to a couple of lawyers. And here's the problem, right? I didn't concede because I don't really think, I'm not certain. I don't certainly believe those results. And there was more than enough confusion going on, because when I reached out to this kid, right, I called him, spoke with him, and said, hey, what's going on here? He gave me his story, but in a nutshell, for preservation of time, he said that he was able to get access to this room because he was getting a a replacement veteran's ID, which is wild to me. But anyway, he was doing that, and he had another picture that he sent me of the back of a van. We got the license plate numbers and everything, and a eyeglasses store. I'm not going to tell you where the location is, but an eyeglasses store where they were supposedly be harvesting ballots inside of this building. And I said, what makes you so certain? And at this point, this is where I'm starting to see red flags. I'm like, what makes you so certain that you saw them carrying ballots? He says, well, because they were coming out with these bins, like the mail bins filled with a bunch of these ballots. How do you know they were ballots? It's my next question. He says, because they looked like the ones I saw in Passaic County. And I was like, do you know if they were filled? He was like, I'm pretty sure of it. And I said, how certain are you? He was like, I'm absolutely certain. Right? I'm like, okay. Now the question is this: how do you know about this place? I'm like, how did you know that this was where they were moving these ballots? And he's like, oh, I just happened to be skateboarding down the street. Yeah, that's nonsense. So you just so happen to know where this room is. You're posting these pictures with what appears to be about at least 8,000 to 10,000 ballots. All right, several of these pictures. And you just so happen to know the location where these ballots are moving, but you've got nothing to do with it. And so after speaking with several lawyers and several groups, they were like, this is there is something here. The problem is, how do you prove it?
Yeah, how do you? Yeah.
Right? And now proving it, you have to go to court, you have to deal with lawyers, you have to spend a lot of money. I also have to run a race. Yeah. And it was an extremely stressful thing for me. I'm not going to lie. So I really understood why in 2021, when Jack conceded, remember how pissed a lot of people got? I was one of those people that got pissed. Yeah. But I understand it, and it's also why I'm moving a little bit differently in this congressional race. It's like, it's one thing to say, rah, 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 we're going to do this, we're going to fight this, but at the same time, you need a plan. Yeah. Right. And the truth is, we were pretty certain that we were going to win this race. And we didn't believe that we were going to lose for any stretch of the imagination. Had Pascal stayed alive, maybe. And I think we probably still would have pulled it off that year. But when I started to see all these things not adding up, I'm like, now I think I can kind of understand why Jack was like, you know what? It's better to prepare, watch the field, and fight another day. I mean, President Trump did the exact same thing. Yeah. After his race, he was like, we really got to pay attention to these numbers, find out where the discrepancies are, and get more legs on the ground and ensure something like this never happens again. Because that's the only way we can mitigate it. I can't make any of these significant changes until I'm in. I won't have access to stronger channels to make these changes until I'm in. Right. Same thing with Jack, same thing with Trump. Look what he's doing right now.
Right. Okay, so I think that's a smart play. Stay alive to the next day, right? Yeah. And just keep moving forward and doing what you can do, what's in your control, managing that. What are some things that are not in your control, though? I mean, are you getting support from the National Republican Committee?
Actually we are. We've spoken with the RNC quite a few times. And granted, they're interested in the race. I don't know if they're 100% interested in me as a candidate per se, but there have been some significant changes that we could get into later, where they are starting to look at my race a little bit more seriously and me as a candidate more seriously. Initially, they're like, well, this guy did great, but he ran 3 times and he lost. But the difference is this is a guy who in 2020 had 31%, 42% in 2022, and then he loses by under 4% in 2026. And this kid, the issue that I hear from a lot of people is like, well, this guy's having a tough time raising funds. And I'm like, every race I've ran, we've done it on a bootstrap budget for several reasons. One, people didn't believe that this was possible. Number 2, some people are checked out and don't believe that District 9 is worth saving. And number 3, some people just are under the thumb of the existing party and they don't want to rock the boat too much. I don't want to, align too much. I don't want to donate. I don't want to say this. And granted, there were a lot of people outside of the state that did help us get to that point. And there were a lot of volunteers that also put in that effort and got us to that point. The RNC, on the other hand, has been looking for candidates, and no one significant has really come to the field. I
mean, there is one candidate.
They're not significant, though.
I don't know who this person is, but I need to bring her name. I don't even know her name, but there's Clifton councilwoman, right?
Oh, right. That's right. So Rosemary, her name is Rosemary. Okay. Right. Oh man, it's a pretty funny one. Where do we begin?
Hey, I mean, wherever you want to.
and it's like, I don't want to throw rocks too much because anybody can go online and find out for themselves the type of candidate that she is. Yeah. But back in 2023, actually, I should say, I was very skeptical of this person, right? Because actually, no, you can go back even further. 2021, this person was a Democrat,
no, really? Registered Democrat?
Like an AOC type Democrat.
Oh, wow.
Like she wasn't like some moderate, not at all. You know, was already on the council. Saw her attack other Republicans that I'm friends with to this day out in Clifton. And in 2023, she decided to flip Republican. Interesting. The district, it's a little bit more Hispanic. I don't know. And that's the dumb thing about politics that I think that a lot of people in politics really should stop getting hung up on. Is like, because this race is here, I'm going to win. You may have a little bit of an edge, but you're not going to win. People aren't stupid. They're not a monolith, you know? But anyway, 2023, they chose her to be the candidate to run for county clerk in Passaic. And I remember I went to the chairman. I was like, why would you choose this candidate? And he's like, she was brought to me. Like, she just flipped.
You're talking about Murphy?
Yeah. Okay. Like, she just flipped her. And granted, I can see his perspective. He's like, we just had a councilwoman in Powell Park. This is a while back. This is back about 2 years ago when this councilwoman flipped. Wow, why can't I remember her name? She was a lovely woman.
Stephanie Jang?
Yes. Yeah. She flipped Republican. And he was like, look, people are turning the tide. I think it sends a positive message. And I'm like, I can see that. I was like, but I don't think you understand the type of Democrat this person was. Nonetheless, she ran. Long story short, she didn't win. And I kept my distance from her primarily because I didn't trust her, and rightfully so. I don't trust you. You fast forward to 2024, where we're running, and I get invited to Clifton, to the Latino Leaders of Clifton headquarters, and they were doing a interview for candidates that they wanted to endorse or whatever. I go over there, tell them exactly what I'm about. Oh, wow, yeah, sounds real good. She sends a surrogate. She doesn't even show up.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
2 days later, I find out that she endorsed the Republican sheriff candidates, the Republican commissioner candidate, a guy who's now a Democrat who ran for council, and Rosemary Pou, and Nellie Pou.
They're all the same.
That's an even funnier story. I got a funnier story of that. But and Nellie Pou for Congress right after that. And then you fast forward to not too long ago, you're running for Congress, claiming to be the America First candidate, and not even 8 months ago, you endorsed a Democrat. You didn't just endorse a Democrat, but on top of that, you said that she supports our like a woman's right to choose or something along the lines of that. When I find it, I could probably put it on screen or something, but put that up, and I'm like, you're really trying to play a double-sided sword here because, you've alienated the people that were Democrats that were loyal to you, and now you're kind of trying to do the same thing as a Republican, and Republicans already don't trust you. Like, it just kind of really, you'll see.
So, I mean, like, these are the people who just want to be politicians, right? Career politicians. They want to go up the ladder.
I don't know her motives, but what I can say is I don't think that she is... I don't think that she has what it takes to represent this district.
How do you convince the RNC?
I don't have to, because the RNC, I think, the RNC is not filled with stupid people. They do their due diligence, they do their research, and which is why I told you things have changed. They've done their due diligence. They've checked out her voting record. They've seen the way she operates, what she does, what her family does at city council meetings. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, in regards to the RNC is definitely interested in this race for sure.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of which direction it's going to go to, will they endorse anybody at the very early on? More likely than not, no, because there's a primary, or they probably won't endorse anybody at all. However, it's a very winnable district, and they need to make sure that they're choosing the appropriate candidate. And right now, it's just not in her favor at all.
We need to get them to endorse you, man. I mean, I think that would just kind of seal the deal. And I just don't understand the hesitation on why they're not doing that. I can just kind of playing devil's advocate. And that's one thing that I've kind of learned to do over the years. Like, I've been very hardline, far right Republican, and I got no issue with that. But I like to play devil's advocate for them. It's not necessarily that
they're not, they wouldn't want to take a candidate like me serious or anything. It's more like if we've already got a tight minority right now, is it worth the risk to throw it at a D+8? It could be, but is he a viable candidate? So there's a lot of question marks in the air. Yeah. Now it's very different. Every hour or so, the RNC and several PACs are tearing Nellie Pou up on television. And they're pouring a lot of effort into this race.
Didn't they release some sort of letter or something a few days ago?
That was fake, apparently.
That was fake.
Yeah, it looked like ChatGPT. I would have knew off rip that was fake.
Like, why would they do something like that?
I think they did it as a troll. I don't think that was a real letter.
Oh, real? Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a troll. But do you feel like that energy that they're doing could be spent elsewhere than doing something like that?
I think it's complacency. And that's also the same thing that I think the Republican Party needs to be aware of as well, too. I mean, we have some Republican towns in District 9, for example, who are doing quite well. And there are some changes. There are some people that are looking to upend the system and flip it around. And some Republicans have gotten quite complacent. We're going to win here. We're good. We got quite the landslide. We'll be fine. Yeah. That level of complacency allows for memes and trolls and things like that. And I don't think that's a position that the Republican Party should be in right now. Allow them to play the game. Let them think they've got it.
Yeah. You've mentioned earlier that at times this has been stressful to you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you keep on going? For a fourth time around, going through a lot of this nonsense or whatever, how does your family feel about you running? How are they supporting you, your friends and family? Like, it's not an easy thing, Billy. And like, you're going again for the fourth time, and it's like, we're in 2025. So right after election day, and you're going to events too.
Yeah.
You're throwing an event coming up soon. Like, how do you handle that, man?
So it's a couple of reasons, and the people that are close and are in the campaign know it quite well. How often it actually crosses my mind, like the same thing you said. Why the hell are you doing this? Like, why are you continuing? Because it's very stressful. It's mentally taxing. It's financially taxing. It's everything, But when you're out and about, and you're talking with people and you're meeting with people in the community and you see the frustration, you see what's going on in their mind, you see what's happening in their children's schools, and they're frustrated, but for whatever reason, one or another, they just can't do anything. I've always been against bullies. I've always hated seeing people get screwed over. And when you're out and about in public and people are like, hey, Billy, this is what's going on in my community, this and that. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm stressed out. I kind of don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. And I'm talking with them, I'm hearing them, and it would really boil my heart, and I'm like, I got to punch these people in the face, politically. Yeah. But, I got to do something about this. I can't just sit there and allow the people that I claim to love, the people that I claim to fight for, the people who I talk about being a veteran and caring about our country so much. Like, I feel like I would be a coward if I were to stop. Granted, I know some people say, this guy is running on his fourth term, and that's okay, fine. If that's the logic you want to keep, but at the end of the day, those 3 times that I ran, I ran because I meant it. I ran because I genuinely cared about it. And after the 2024 race happened, it really bothered me to lose by under 4%. It really, really bothered the hell out of me. The first 2 times, it's like, you lose by 10, 50 something percent, and those bothered me, but I was like, okay, I can see the progress. But I was so certain we were taking this home. And I would rather lose by 10% or 20% than 5%.
Yeah,
and
so close, right?
I was, shortly after the election, I took a trip to the Philippines for a month. I decided, let me go as far away from the politics where they still understand me. Yeah. And went over there and I started thinking about it. Like, I could really enjoy life, out here. I think I probably might want to move out here. Yeah. But then I really started thinking about it. I'm like, you're really going to leave like your home? If for whatever reason you can't do it again, that's understandable, but you have a shot, like you sent a message to the country and people are upset. One of my staffers pulled me to the side one day and we were having a conversation and they were like, if you leave this race, like I'm leaving the state, like a lot of people are leaving this state, and if you don't run, I don't think you should get deeply involved in politics. You know, there were a lot of people who used you for clout, who enjoyed walking alongside you, showing up in pictures, but never showed up, never took a donation, never did anything like that. Yeah. But you don't owe them anything, right? And if you aren't going to do this, I understand. But just know that if you don't do this, you know what will happen to the people here, you know? And that thought literally sat in my head for weeks, man, weeks. And then that's when screw it. I have to do it again.
So is this the last time around?
This will be the last time around, but this will be the time I'll be your congressman for sure. For sure. And the reason why I say that is because of how much the dynamics have changed. The dynamics have changed significantly. The Democrats don't have it easy right now, but also Republicans, even though we're up, we have a very slim majority. Some congresspeople are retiring. Yeah, they have potential replacements, but will they make it? You know, we lose that majority, we're back to square one all over again. You know, and that's another scary thought that sits in my mind.
A lot of times, like the midterms, though, aren't really good for, like, you know, for the people in power, right? What's your argument against that? Like, you're going to be in a tough race.
Yeah, and the way that I look at a race, man, is like, even in a primary, I don't sleep on anybody. I may throw jokes and laugh at them every now and then, but like, I don't sleep on anybody. I think every race is hard, and you ran, you know what I'm talking about, like whether it's midterm, general election, primary, or a presidential year, it's all hard. It's just that the factors are different. You know, you have a little bit of a boost because you have a president running on the presidential year and a Senate candidate or something. But in a midterm, it's tougher because it's mano a mano, congressperson or whatever. And you're lucky if you have a senator on the ticket with you as well, because other than that, you are at the top. Yeah. But I think that's a better position for me to be in. And the reason why I say that is because I'm actually out here. You know, I'm actually with the people. I've actually been doing this for quite some time. And I actually help other candidates. I'm not someone that just throws money at the wall and eventually, hey, elect me. You know, people at least know what I'm about. They see me as, let's say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be an ambassador for this kid. Like, he's got what it takes.
Trump. Do you think, like, you've met him before, right? You've met him a couple times, right?
I met him twice.
Could we get his support for you?
I don't know. Yeah, but
would that help you, hurt you?
No, it would absolutely help me 100%. Yeah. I just don't want to get too much into the weeds with what's, you know, behind the scenes. But I think it would be very, 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 very beneficial. The likelihood of it, I think, would be quite high considering what's at stake. And also, Jack Ciattarelli winning a race as well, too, would probably even have more of a focus. I do know for a fact, and have spoken with people that are close with the president as well, that they're definitely looking at 9. They are asking about me, so that's good. Will we get an endorsement? We'll see. But I don't think that would be any time from now.
So you're always out and about. What is, like, the tactical approach this time around of getting new voters or getting out to those independents? Because we know in your district, Republicans, they love you.
Yeah.
They love you. So, but we need to get those independents. We need to get those straggling, you know, Democrats, right, who are on the fence, iffy. How do we reach out to those guys?
You know what's been really funny? What's been a very interesting dynamic that I'm starting to realize now, especially with moderates and Democrats, is I've always been someone who's anti-war, and that's ironic. I was in the military, but that even led to me being more anti-war, even more so. And granted, sometimes it's necessary. For the most part, it's not. My policy of not allowing U.S. dollars to be utilized anywhere in the world that's being used for a foreign conflict, whether that's Ukraine, Israel, whatever, I don't want that happening anymore. I'm sick and tired of our money being spent to finance other nations, poke bees' nests in other countries. And you know, the thing that's funny about it is people across the board, regardless of where you're from, whether you're Israeli, you're Ukrainian, you're African, you're Muslim, whatever, a lot of them agreed. You know, granted, some of them have their wants, but overall, they don't want to see war anymore either. And I've always pitched a message that it's like, no matter where you came from in the world, you came here for a reason. The same way your parents came here for a reason. You came here to be an American, right? So if you're here, you have to understand not just my perspective and my position, but what my role is as a representative. My role is to represent the United States of America, more specifically the New Jersey's 9th District. You happen to be a constituent of that. Anything you need, anything you want within the borders of the United States, it is my job to ensure that I do it to the best of my ability. And sharing a message that puts America first more than anything has actually unified quite a lot of people towards my base. Even with the immigration crisis we've been seeing. The city of Patterson, the sanctuary city. We see it at Passaic with Trump winning District 9.
You see it on the street out here.
Exactly. You know, so it's like, it doesn't matter what side you're on. That virtue signaling and pandering stuff worked when Biden was around and rah, rah, we got it. But now, not only is that all gone, first off, and this sounds really annoying, but it's a political game that's happening here, right? When one side is on the party, here's something to complain about. When one side, the other side of the party, here's something to complain about. A lot of people are not happy about what's happening in Israel and Palestine, right? And I don't choose either side. I choose what's best for America. And the best thing is let them do what's going on over there. That's on them. I don't want our money financing any of that stuff, right? And people can see it for what it is, right? We've already cut tremendous amounts of money with Doge. We've already put our American citizens first. We've secured our southern border. Immigration is at the lowest it's ever been. Pretty soon we're going to start to be in a positive balance in the United States government. I don't want to see us go backwards from what we're doing. You know, if we're going to go and help the world, and we're going to do anything with the world, then I think we need to get everything here in order first before we do that. My whole entire life, everyone else has come before us, you know, and I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think it's greasy. I don't think it's greedy. I think it's the appropriate thing to do. And no matter where you are in the world, I think you should be nationalistic of your nation. You should want your country to do the best. You should want your country to excel in health and education and in everything. But you can't do that when you're the piggy bank for the rest of the world.
That's right.
You know, I want those other countries to succeed and do well as well too. But we have to worry about us first, and that's what I'm worried about.
You can't take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
So, what are your top 2-3 issues then right now? Top
3 issues. They've primarily been the same. They've primarily been the same issues. But the newest one that I'm really focused on is, and I think it's something that President Trump is in the process of working on, is I would love to see the income tax get completely abolished. I would love to see it get removed completely, as well as real estate taxes. And with what the president is doing with tariffs, a lot of people are against it right now. Yeah, prices are going up, but it's a Band-Aid that needed to be ripped off. At some point, our country has been getting ripped. I mean, our country, for speaking of being ripped off, has been getting ripped off for many, many years, right? Some people have had very unfair trade balances with us, and Trump came in and strong-armed the game. We're going to hit you with reciprocal tariffs, if not crazier. I mean, you see what happened in China. You know, they said we're going to hit Trump with 105% tariff. Well, we're going to do 150. Okay, let's come to the table and talk about this. No one was going to talk about this before. And there's nations all across the country that are clamoring to do business with the United States. The more that increases, that only does better for us. If you're a foreign country, I mean, you're a foreign company or something, and you want to invest in the United States because you want to save on tax benefits, good on you, because the people who benefit from that at the end of the day are the Americans, right? If we buy more things domestically, we have more stake in what we have. And right now, America, we're just consuming and we're not creating. So that's one thing. The second thing is the freedom of education plan, a policy that I've always harped on about for a long time, because trade programs played a significant role in my life. I was a knucklehead student when I was in school, you know, cutting class. Everybody played the game, you know. It is what it is. Anybody who says they didn't, they're lying.
You're lying.
Right? Or I probably wasn't hanging with you. But you made the right choice. But trade programs were things that really stuck out to me. You know, my father was a mechanic, and watching him work on cars, I wanted to be like my dad, wanted to learn welding, wanted to learn stuff like that. And that's where my attention really flourished. And I saw college wasn't for me very early on. And, you know, shortly after my father passed away, I felt, you know, I think one of the good things I could do is not just give back to my country, but also I want to learn to be like my father. I want to learn these trades. And I became a mechanic in the military. And granted, I think it's good for people to join the military, but I also think that opportunity should be a lot closer to home as well, too. We have tons of public schools. We have teachers that are coming out of their pocket just to ensure that children can get a quality education. Yet yet the homeowners are expected to continue to raise their taxes in order to finance these programs. So my solution is, well, why don't we partner with businesses that are already involved in the trades, finance, the IT sectors, and have them invest in our schools? And whatever they invest, they can write back off. This not only creates a pipeline of potential future employees, it also allows for trade programs the school otherwise wouldn't have had. And even if it's something like buying books or buying computers or whatever the case may be, you can write that off as a business. The way I see it is the Democrats will say, well, you have to pay your fair share. Well, I don't think anybody should be forced to do anything. But if there's an incentive for me to do so, and this is a business, let's not kid ourselves here, right? That's going to benefit the business. It's going to benefit the school. It's going to benefit the children. The parents are going to be happy. Their taxes aren't going up. The teachers are going to be happy. They have more equipment to train their children without going out of pocket. It's a win-win situation across the board that regardless of where you land on the political spectrum, people are on board with it. Third policy that I would really love to see get accomplished would be the Heroes Redemption Plan. It's something that has been very critical to me because I myself, many years ago, dealt with homelessness. And there's a lot of veterans in our country that really struggle with this. And there aren't a lot of straightforward, streamlined resources. Like, don't get me wrong, the VA has resources for veterans, but I think that not only should it be easier to access, but I think that we should have a program to not just help get them home or get them a house, but also get them back on their feet and get them back into society. And one thing I do know, and one of the issues that many veterans, including myself at one point, faced is when you leave the military, it's kind of hard to adjust back to the real world, you know, and some people stay like that. You know, that regimented lifestyle or having a sense of purpose or a sense of duty, something that you offer something, when you lose that, it really kills the spirit. And all across our country, we have hundreds of military bases that are currently not being used. They're being defunct. Now, we don't have to open every single one of them, but open up at least 3, at least 4, 5, some of them, and help get these veterans back on their feet. These buildings have barracks, they have homes, they have hospitals, machine shops, you name it. They can learn trade programs and so forth. But we're spending billions of dollars on these illegals, and that's finally been cut to an end. And I think we have the funds necessary to give back to the people who gave the most to the United States.
Great policies. I agree with them 100%. And I think after today's discussion, our talk, I think people have a better understanding of who you are. But finally, for that skeptical voter out there, you meet them, 30-second pitch. What would you say to them? 30-second
pitch is, you've dealt with the exact same for the past 30 years. And that's the truth, right? And I'm talking about this federally, right? You've had different presidents. You've had different Congress people. Has anything gotten better voting for the exact same party? Because if you're in the exact same position and you're telling me that I can't vote for a Republican purely because you're a Republican, well, at the same time, do you know what I stand for? And that's an issue that I see happens with everybody that I run into that's a Democrat. They're like, oh, I can't vote for you, Republican. I'll tell them, do you know what I stand for? They don't know. All right. I'll even tell people, like, listen, do you know any do you know any women that are single parents right now? It's like, yeah. How many of these women do you know that considered abortion or had an abortion, not because they were rah, blue hair, I'm going to go and kill my baby, but because they felt they didn't have a choice? So I know a lot of them, you know, trauma. So why don't we have a solution where we can help these women and give them a real choice? Because if we have federal dollars going to Planned Parenthood, and most of that has been cut at this point, if we have federal dollars going to Planned Parenthood, but we don't have anything to actually help keep children alive or actually help keep women on their feet, at least helping them for the first 4 years of the child's life. We have programs like WIC, for example, but I'm talking like in terms of daycare, in terms of watching the child, helping the child grow up. Give these children a better shot at life. Not only that, America is also going through a crisis right now where the solution Democrats have pitched to us is we're not having enough kids. We need to invite more people from the other side of the world, which is ludicrous. Right? Taxes are at an all-time high, and young Americans like ourselves, some of us may never buy a home. Right? We need to have a completely new tax system. And I think that for young adults growing up, I think that there should be a lock on your taxes at 10% up until the age of 35. I think that should be, actually up until the age of 30, and then after marriage up until the age of 35. And the reason why I say that is because these kids are growing up, they're paying their college loans, they're paying the tuitions, they're paying their rent, they're doing whatever it is that they have to stay afloat. But these people also want that same American dream that our parents got. And there's not going to be an option for that. And I think that it's going to require out-of-the-box thinking, and it's going to require new ideas that people haven't considered to make those things a reality.
Billy, you've said a lot of great things, and I think it's time to wrap up.
Oh, man.
I'm going to bring you out. If you have time, you're a busy guy. I'd love to have you back on the show. But for our listeners who want to follow you, learn more about you, donate to your campaign, where can they find you?
So if you want to learn more about the campaign, you can go to www.billyprempeh.com, where you can see all of the policies that I've put together. If you'd like to make a donation, that would help us out significantly. Go to billyprempeh.com/donate. And if you'd like to volunteer, the more volunteers, the better. I'm one man. I'm not an octopus, so I need your hands to help me make this into a reality. Go to www.billyprempeh.com/volunteer. And you can type Billy Prempeh on social media or some guy named Bill on Instagram.
He's not difficult to find.
I'm a very easy man to find.
Billy Prempeh is back for round 4 in New Jersey's 9th District. A race that's no longer the long shot it once was. Whether you see his persistence as grit or stubbornness, it's clear he's entering a fight defined by new political realities, fresh opposition, and lessons learned from the past 3 runs. As his campaign heats up, NJ-9 is shaping into one of the most intriguing battlegrounds in the state. And I most certainly will be watching. Here on the Inside Lines, we cut through the talking points to bring you the real strategy, the real stories, the real people shaping New Jersey politics. If you enjoyed this conversation, share the episode, hit subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on YouTube for clips, highlights, and updates. Until next time, I'm George. Stay informed, stay engaged. This is the Inside Lines.